G'day Gooners, and welcome back to the podcast. It's episode 2. I'm joined by George, of course, and we got a big show coming today. Atletico Madrid tomorrow, Champions League nights. I'm really excited. The daylight savings has shifted the game to 6 a.m. That usually would have been 5 a.m. So I guess it's better for us, more sleep. But yeah, the weekend that's just gone, that was incredible. Liverpool losing, Man United, how have they won that? But a really great weekend to be an Arsenal fan. George, what do you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't even mentioned the fact that Spurs lost as well. Um,
Exactly.
Almost a perfect set of results for us. I think that the only thing that I would say is Man City do keep winning and they're sort of going under the radar a little bit. People are sort of forgetting how good they really are. They have the best manager in the world. Haaland is doing Haaland-like things. So I don't think they can be discounted just because Liverpool aren't producing what we are used to seeing from them in the last, well, I guess 18 months. But yeah, no, great weekend. Great weekend. And yeah, buzzing for the Champions League. Buzzing for the Champions League.
It's just ridiculous at the moment. I saw a video today actually that Haaland has scored 11 goals now for City. And I believe their
It's
next
ridiculous.
highest scorer has only got one. So
Yeah.
it could be a thing where, like, what if Haaland gets injured? Do you think we just run away with the league now that Liverpool's kind of fallen off as well? Or
I don't
I
like
don't,
to look that far in the future, to be honest. I think looking at game by game and just getting the next 3 points on the board is the most important thing. And I think
right.
Arteta will probably be thinking in the same mindset. Um, you, we got what 50 points in the first half of the season in 2022-23, and everyone thought, oh, they're going to run away with it now, and then what 1-2 injuries away, and it completely changes your season. So you've just got to be very, very, I guess, calm. Like this team and Mikel Arteta, they haven't gone the full distance yet. They got very, very close, but they haven't done it. They haven't got across the line. So I guess Liverpool and City have that on us that they have done it. They know how to win, and they know how to be calm in those stressful moments. So from our point of view, we just have to go week by week and just get those points on the board, keep on winning, keep on gaining momentum, and I guess tomorrow is the best way to do it against a very very strong Atletico Madrid team. What do you think?
Well, I mean, from what I've been seeing on all social medias, they're calling it the Haram Ball Derby. That's what I've been seeing. It's gonna feel like a chess match, I think, for me. I wouldn't be surprised if it's low scoring, even though Atletico Madrid they put five past Real Madrid, but I feel like just our defense is a lot stronger, more compact. I feel like it's going to be just a really interesting and really tactical game as well. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, obviously Diego Simeone known for his defensive prowess. The same, I guess, with said for Mikel Arteta. So yeah, I think you're absolutely spot on. It's going to be a tactical, I guess, chess game, um, and yeah, I think it could possibly be a 1-0 or a 2-0 or a 2-1, that sort of scoreline because of the way that Atletico Madrid play. I mean, they've won their last four in their last five, I think, and drawn the other one. That's in competitive games. I know they had a club friendly a few weeks ago, which was a bit random, but yeah. Uh, and I guess their usual style is probably quite similar to us in terms of being very, very compact defensively, but also controlling the ball. What I would say is that in the big games, like the one against Real Madrid, they conceded possession to Real Madrid, and defensively, although they appear in a 4-4-2, and that's usually their formation both on and off the ball throughout most of their games. In the big game, they brought Simeone's son in from right midfield into a right back position, so they created a back five. I think it was a 5-3-2, really really compact in the middle, forcing the ball to wide areas. Madrid, I think that's Real Madrid built with a three. I think they built with a 3-2-5. So as soon as the ball went out to those wide wingers or one of the fullbacks who went high and wide, that's when Atletico Madrid decided to press really aggressively, and they got a lot of success from that. And when they won the ball back, their transition was very very quick. Their Julian Alvarez going down the side, same with Griezmann, and Madrid defensively. That is again Real Madrid defensively let Atletico have the ball out wide. the problem they had with that was they had big Sirloff in the middle. So Atletico Madrid were getting quite a lot of joy just by crossing the ball in. So I guess that's something for us to be quite wary about. But they're a very, very, very strong team and they can cause us problems. They've got very, very good players. It also wouldn't shock me if someone like Gallagher was to play just because he's played in England before. He's played at the Emirates. And he knows that our midfield, Simeone will know that our midfield is very, very robust and strong. So it wouldn't shock me if they had runners in there, which makes me think we might go even more physical, the most physical that we can possibly go. Yeah, I'm not sure what you think about that, but that's sort of how I assess the game.
I mean, you mentioned the crosses, and we could be wary of that. To be honest, I'm not worried at all about the crosses. We've seen Raya. I believe he's one of the best goalkeepers in Europe for claiming crosses, so I'm not worried about that. The thing that I'm potentially worried about is we were talking about the other day how Gyökeres occupying those central spaces frees up more space for Saka. But if Atletico Madrid are going to drop into this back five, do you think they're going to double up, triple up on Saka? Do you think that's something
Quite
that they would
possibly.
go for? Yeah.
Quite possibly, which is, I guess, a reason why the person that I would choose to play on the left would also be difficult to mark. So that's, I guess, more of a job for Simeone tactically to think about, not allowing one side to be sort of over reliant on defending one side as opposed to being more balanced. But yeah, 100%. I mean, you're right. We're very, very good at defending crosses, both the centre backs and David Raya. What I would say is, with all the fixtures coming up, do you think that Arteta will potentially rotate?
Oh yeah, and that's what I wanted to get into because you left that left wing name a bit. Who knows who's going to play there? So I want to get into the lineup. I guess you can start. Go for it. What's your lineup to face Simeone and Atletico tomorrow?
So I would go. I've really toyed with who I would. David Raya obviously starts, and Gabriel and Saliba obviously start in the center of our defense. It's the fullbacks that I'm really struggling to really be to really be decisive on, because I think Timber has to play. Although I love Ben White's ability to bomb forward and create different sorts of problems for the opponent's defense. But I think I would go with Timber. I just think he's super consistent. He's very, very good defensively. He gives Saka, I guess, the freedom to sort of express himself. Left back is more tricky, I think, for me, because my first thought was, okay, let's go box midfield, have Miles play as the left back, but in a sort of double pivot with Zubimendi, and have Rice and Merino play in front in a sort of box midfield. But the more I think about it, the more Calafiori just gives us so much variety. And he makes us way more unpredictable in build-up. And I think with a team as rigid as Atletico Madrid, I think we might need that. And I'm looking forward and seeing we've got Palace. Who else we got coming up? We've got a cup game, right? We've got a EFL Cup game, I think.
Brighton.
Yeah, against Brighton coming up. So maybe those two games are more suited for a Miles to play in. So I probably would go unchanged. I'll probably have a back four of Calafiori, Gabriel Saliba, and Urian Timber. In front of them, I'd have Zubimendi, Rice, and I'd play Merino centrally. I think, again, in a box midfield, I think we just need his physicality. We need his ability to have one shot and score one goal. And also, I think against the Spanish teams, because he's played in the Liga, I think he's just way more calm. I think he gives us sort of just a calming presence. And without having Odegaard in the squad, you need some of that in these big games with obviously big Emirates crowd, late kickoff, big atmosphere, Champions League. And yeah, as I said, against a Spanish team, I think I'd play Merino in there. My front three would be Saka on the right, of course, Victor Gyökeres down the middle, and I would play Eze on the left-hand side. I just think that his ability to beat his man 1v1, he can play on the inside, he can play on the outside. And I mentioned it on the last pod, I think in those central areas against those blocks, I think he will struggle because he's not used to playing against teams like that week in, week out. But out wide, he has the ability to just sort of express himself. So that would be my 11. What are you thinking about that? Would you change anything? Would you include anyone else?
I'd probably have to agree. Honestly, I was going to start Eze in that midfield. I know
Yeah,
he didn't have the best game against Fulham, but I didn't actually consider the Merino and the Spanish connections that he has. So I actually do really agree with that shout. So I'm going to change my midfield to include Merino. But honestly, maybe I'd substitute out Calafiori for Lewis Skelly.
yeah,
I always get worried. It's just something for me personally. I always get worried that these players is going to get injured. I don't know what it is. Hopefully no curses or anything. But Calafiori, he had a lot of problems last year, and he's playing a lot of football this season. But on the other hand, it's also like because this is going to be a tough game, so we should go strong. And then for these Premier League games, that EFL Cup game, that's when we can chill out a little bit, rotate a bit more. So I think I'm going to have to go with the same 11 as you, to be honest.
yeah, yeah. And we mentioned on the last pod, Miles will get game time. And even if we get the job done after 60 minutes, then bring on Miles, then bring on Ben White.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And then you can sort of rest those players. I think we're playing on the Sunday UK time, so it'll be uh it'll be almost a week, well, 5 days rest. So that'll be, I guess, enough for those players to get themselves fit for the next game. Um, in terms of the scoreline, what would you be predicting for this one?
I mentioned before, I think it's going to be low scoring. I think it's going to be like a real chess match. It's going to be that sort of game where we've seen, that 0-0 that we had at City a
Yeah,
couple years back, I believe. I feel like it's going to be that sort of game where it's very very tactical. I feel like there's going to be a lot of people making content online afterwards, breaking it down. I'm sure we're going to do a whole lot of that as well after the game, so stay tuned for that as well. But I'm I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 2-1 Arsenal, I think. I know I said low scoring, but I think we'll just get it done in the end. I really hope that might be my bias showing. It could be a 1-0, could be a 0-0, but I think 2-1.
yeah.
How about you?
I am slightly concerned when it comes to Julian Alvarez. I just think so he's just so good, really. He can cause such problems for us potentially, and he has done in the past when he was at Man City. Um, he's have you seen the set pieces he's been able to? I think he's scored two or three free kicks since he's got to Atletico.
Oh wow. Okay.
He's really become their main man. Um, he I think missed the game against Liverpool in the Champions League, I think through injury, but apart from that, he's been pretty much a mainstay in their team. And obviously, you really can't just discount how good Griezmann's been over the past decade. He's such a quality player, and he can also cause us problems.
Still going
Um,
strong
but
as well.
yeah, it's crazy. It's nuts. So yeah, I'd probably agree with you. I'll go 2-0 Arsenal, I think. Um, I just struggle to see us conceding at the minute. It's unbelievable. And I do think that their centre backs, Leloman and I think Clement Longley, um, previously of Spurs, I think Spurs and Barcelona.
Yep.
I think that's quite a vulnerable centre back pairing, and I think Gyökeres could potentially do something in this game. Um, I hope he does. He needs the confidence. So yeah, I'm going 2-0 win.
Do you
2
think
0 win.
Gyökeres will score?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's going to get one, and I think Saka or Merino will get the other one. Um, listen, it's harsh on Trossard even, who obviously got the goal in our last game. But I don't know. I think this game just I can't get my words out. Requires something else, and that's the beauty of having such a strong squad. Um, we can rotate, and we look equally as strong. Um, not sure if Mikel will agree, but that's my thinking on the game. Um, yeah,
That's good. Just on Atletico Madrid. So you're mentioning that they were going into a 5-3-2 possession, a 5-3-2 formation out of possession, I should say, with
yeah,
Simeone's son joining the back five. But we've seen in previous seasons, Atletico Madrid, they're not afraid to sit in those two banks of five and just grind it out. Do you think that there could be a situation where Atletico Madrid realize, oh, Arsenal are maybe a bit too good at the moment? Like they could grow into the game and then realize, oh shit, we need to sit back here? Do you think that could be a possibility as well, and they could just grind out a 0-0?
Potentially. I think Simeone always looks. He needs just points on the board. He always looks to the result. He doesn't really care so much about playing beautiful football, although they're capable of, like, the Kokes of this world, Griezmann, Alvarez. We've spoken about a few of them. So they are capable of playing really scintillating stuff at times. But yeah, no, they can be very compact, very frustrating, difficult to break down. And Simeone, like Arteta, is quite stubborn when it comes to that sort of thing. So I guess that's the only reason I sort of mentioned the game against Real Madrid, because I think they may approach us in a similar way. We also struggle when teams block out the central areas of the pitch. We don't really have someone who naturally is able to take the ball on the half turn consistently, like a Foden for City, for example. So we rely on Saka really to create separation somehow. So it wouldn't shock me if that was the same. Needless to say, that they also counter at pace, and in transition, that's, I reckon, the area that we may find difficult to cope with. As soon as they win the ball back, I think the theme that we were noticing from the Real Madrid game was the ball was going out wide. As soon as that first pass goes backwards, that's the trigger for the two strikers to go press and force the ball back to the goalkeeper. So we might see similar themes, and once that happens, their defensive line just pushes a lot higher up, so they can, I guess, have their starting position higher. It's going to be a difficult one. It won't be scintillating. It won't be like, I don't know, PSV comes to the top of my head from last season. But we are always a lot better when teams come and press us, especially teams who aren't quite as good as us, because we find ways to sort of cut through lines and break lines, and that's when you see the best of us. But yeah, they're a very, very strong side. I'm not expecting many goals. And yeah, that's really my thought process. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. As I mentioned before, I feel like it's just going to feel like a real chess game. I'm really excited. I love these sort of games. Like, obviously, I probably prefer the Premier League a little bit more, because I feel like so many of these teams are just so interesting in the way they play, especially in the Champions League
Yeah,
as well. It's a lot more unpredictable because obviously we're used to playing, all these teams in the Premier League week in, week out. But against an Atletico, it's going to be really exciting to see how they set up and if they can even get something out of the game. I don't think they will at all, to be honest. I'm really confident that we're going to win tomorrow. But yeah.
we owe them one as well. They came to the Emirates, and I think either got a draw or they beat us in the Champions League. I know something happened with Koscielny. I think Griezmann ended up scoring. I think I was there that day as well. And ever since then, I've been wanting to play against them. So it's good
Yeah.
that it's come around now, and we look at a much stronger team than we did back then. So hopefully the result will come, as well as a performance. I would like to see, I guess, a technically better performance than we did against Fulham. I've sort of reflected on the game at the time. Obviously, it was very early in the morning, so not only was I really tired, but I was also quite frustrated with just the way we played and the lack of, I don't know, we lost balls quite often in that first half. And so on reflection, I really thought it's actually quite a good 3 points to get. It's a hard place to go. We struggled there previously. And you really look at, I don't know, Newcastle, your West Hams, your Fulhams, and in previous years, they were fixtures that we would not win. And so against the big teams, I'm actually usually more relaxed about how we're going to perform. I usually think we go out and we actually perform against the big teams. It's the ones who play in that aggressive mid block or a low block who we struggle against. So I think a lot of character's been built from seasons gone by, and they're being very resilient. So credit to Arteta and the lads. So yeah, no, I'm confident. I'm always confident at the moment, which is a good thing, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm sure it'll be a tricky game.
Yeah, just on that, that's one of the reasons why I'm actually really confident about this season. Winning away at Newcastle, winning away at Fulham. I know on paper, or maybe not as much Newcastle, but on paper, we should be dominating these teams. But these have been the games that we've messed up in previous seasons. Have always been
Yeah,
the bogey teams. We get a draw. that game last season or the season before, it's a 0-0. We might even lose 1-0. You know what I mean? Because we're usually quite good against the Big Six. I mean, our Big Six record was unfortunately broken by Liverpool. By Liverpool. That Szoboszlai goal was just there's nothing you can do about that. But if we can get the points against the Big Six, I agree with you. Like, I'm not even scared of any of the Big Six. Like,
No.
back in like 2018, 19, I'd be shitting myself against
Yeah.
if we have to play United away or something like that. And again, United away, another 3 points there. So that's probably the reason why I'm really confident for this season, and I just can't wait to watch all the games. To be honest.
100%. And I think going back to the Champions League game and these games against teams who want to stifle us, the most important thing is that we score first. If we score first, I'm super confident. I'm super confident. And yeah, let's hope they've got their shooting boots on today, tomorrow even. Today for those watching in the UK, but
Yeah.
for us, it's see, I thought it was a 5 a.m. wake up, so it's 6 a.m.
Because of the daylight savings. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. It's
that's
better.
made my day.
Yeah. One extra hour, they all adds up in the end. So,
It really does.
just want to touch on a bit of the Fulham game because we apologize, guys. We did not even talk about the VAR decision. Originally, it was a penalty. Saka went down from Sessegnon. When I first saw it, if you watched my video, I was saying like I was really happy about it. I was actually happy it wasn't given because I was like, finally, like I don't want anything controversial because you know what these people are like. They're gonna be like, oh, you only won because you had the penalty or whatever. But like I was happy because in my opinion, I think it was a clean tackle. On the day, I thought it was a clean tackle. But since watching it back a few times, I didn't even realize the back of the knee. But it's still so tough because I don't feel like it was a clear and obvious error, which is we always hear those words, clear and obvious error, even though it might not mean anything because you know how VAR is like nowadays. But I'm still gonna say it wasn't a penalty, even though on another day it maybe could have been.
So it was given. It was given in real
Yeah.
time, right? It was given in real time, similar to how the Gyökeres one was a few weeks ago. My gut feeling was it was a penalty when I first saw it. When it was slowed down, I saw that there was contact made on the ball. But I don't know, even the comms, like on the in Australia, we watch from Stan Sports. So on Stan, they were saying that like on before the VAR decision was given, they were saying, yeah, definitely not a pen. Like he got the ball clearly, and I was just like, but there was definite contact there.
Mm,
And for the Gyökeres one, it was he made contact with the ball and then made contact with the man, and that's the reason why it was overturned. And then for this one, he made contact with the man and then made contact with the ball, and it was still overturned.
that's
So
VAR for you.
yeah, I mean, it's just not consistent. And I know that there was a technology issue in the stadium at the time, which is why the VAR decision took a long time.
Oh, is that why? Okay. Didn't even
Yeah,
know that. Yeah.
and Arteta sort of came out afterwards, and he said he was going mental on the touchline because he thought that it was just taking so long, and if it's taking so long, it can't be clear and obvious. And then the referee explained that the reason it took so long was because the video wasn't showing.
Mm.
And then Arteta actually said he didn't think it was a penalty. But I really did think it was a penalty. I don't know. I really thought it was a pen.
I mean, I could definitely see where you're coming from. At the time, as I mentioned, I was like, what are they even looking at? I didn't actually know there was a technology error. That's the first time I've heard of that. So I guess that makes more sense. I was like, why is this taking like 6 minutes for a pretty like conventional tackle? Again, I didn't know about the knee, the contact on the knee. I just saw the guy get the ball. I didn't even see the knee, to be honest. I was thinking like, why is this taking so long? And I think it is a bit ridiculous. If you're taking 6 minutes,
Yeah,
and just stick with the original decision. I think just gotta
100%.
trust the referee if it takes that long.
We either need to scrap the clear and obvious rule and just get the correct decision, or someone needs to define what clear and obvious error actually means because no one knows.
That's the thing though, because it's football is not black and white like a cricket, for example, is. So it's like
Yeah,
it's
it's true.
never going to be something where it's always going to be a contentious decision, no matter what. Obviously,
Yeah,
if it's for your team, you're going to think it's more a penalty. That's just the natural bias coming in. Fulham fans probably don't think it's a penalty. You know what I mean? It's always going to be something that I guess we just have to accept at some point. Obviously, we mentioned we can get foreign referees and get the best refs in, but at the end of the day, I think the refereeing is just poor and it needs to be more consistent.
yeah, 100%. And in hindsight, I would say that I would be more frustrated if the roles were reversed and the Gyökeres one was overturned like it was, say Gyökeres was playing for a different team and we were making the tackle, I'd be much more frustrated that that one wasn't given compared to the Saka one.
Yeah.
But yeah, even still, VAR needs a shake up, I reckon. Yeah, Cal, I reckon there's a good time to wrap up. Positive predictions from us both. We're really confident about this one. So everyone listening, firstly, thank you so much for all your support that you've been giving us. We really appreciate it on all platforms. Please continue to do that. Feel free to write any questions for us that we can answer on future pods. Put down your predictions for the game as well in the comments below. And just, continue support, liking, sharing, subscribing, and commenting. And last of all, don't forget to have a good day, Gooners.
Have a good day, guys. See you next time.